Welcome to this virtual learning event, highlighting the responsible use of artificial intelligence in international development. This study was conducted by Caribou Digital with the support of Canada's International Development Research Centre. In our study, we spoke with development professionals from 8 organizations working across diverse sectors and geographies and using AI technologies in a variety of ways. You can download the full report at bit.ly/responsibleai4D. Several of the organizations in the study agreed to participate in a self-recorded documentary project. Innovators in education, health, agriculture, and human rights filmed themselves working and reflecting on the use of AI to advance development outcomes. We are grateful for their creative efforts and insights. Here to tell us a bit more about the study is Laurent Elder, Program Leader, AI for Development Program at IDRC. Hello, Laurent, and thank you for joining us. Why was IDRC interested in this case study approach?
Well, IDRC is the International Development Research Centre, and we are a Canadian research funding organization. And so it's kind of our bread and butter to support research and case studies on how key innovations are affecting international development. We have been engaged in the area of artificial intelligence and development for quite a few years now. And the issue of AI has kind of exploded. So there's a lot of interest in the potential of AI, but not enough understanding of what's actually happening.
And why was it important to do this study at this time?
It's important because there's that increasing interest that I talked about, but there is also an increasing amount of funding from either the private sector, big tech organizations like Google and Microsoft and others, but also a lot of development donors are very interested in how AI could make a difference in Africa and beyond in the global south. So in a way, these case studies, I hope, can inform some of those investment decisions as to how to best support AI so that it makes a difference to the very people we're trying to help. And also trying to make sure that the AI innovations we're supporting are responsible and do not exacerbate inequalities as some would fear.
Thank you for that context, Laurent. This contribution to the growing conversation on responsible AI and development has 2 primary themes: the cultivation of responsible AI practices and the impact that organizations are having with AI. Let's look at how the development professionals in our study are approaching AI responsibly. Their first shared practices are do no harm and keep humans in the loop.
We're all in this learning process, and I think as much as possible to share best practices. It's new for a lot of us. There aren't any set ways of creating these new structures and these new safety guidelines. So we're learning and we have to put them in place.
We're working with some of the most vulnerable members of the population. So we want to make sure that our users are protected, that their interests are considered first. If we wanted, we could have automated 100% of the responses. That would have been the most efficient thing to do, but it would not have been the safest thing to do.
It's of the utmost importance that askNivi never act in a way that leads to direct harm. It is crucial that all of the information that is delivered by the askNivi chatbot be culturally appropriate, relevant to context, and accurate.
A lot of the time, the solutions that you're trying to build may not actually need AI and can be solved just as effectively with existing tools or simpler methods. Where possible, these should be prioritized.
So really thinking through how machine learning is going to fit into your work. What tasks is it going to do? And is it actually going to help you or create a whole new stream of work?
Responsible AI means AI that arguments and supports human expertise rather than fully automating high-risk decisions.
Despite the high level of accuracy of the machine learning features, human oversight is essential.
It can be really easy to, make big promises about what machine learning can do. But it's really important for us to move slowly to ensure that whatever we're building and deploying is well tested and that we're constantly iterating on it to make sure that the machine learning features that we're launching are actually going to be helpful for civil society, that's actually going to make their lives easier and doesn't totally remove the human from the equation.
Generative AI is very good at choosing how to communicate. It's hit or miss at choosing the right advice, and it's terrible at knowing whether it has the prerequisite details. This is why at NIVI, we use therapeutic area experts to craft our user experience. We use curated content, and we never send generative AI content directly to our end users without vetting.
Teachers can override the recommendation of the AI system or can direct it in ways that they want for their classroom, and can also provide feedback on whether they found the plans effective or how they would like them to change.
We take about 15% of answers and we do human evaluation and try to see if we can catch errors. And then in the field, our users have an immediate channel to share with us with a thumbs up or a thumbs down and a note if there are answers that don't meet their needs and that are problematic.
The model doesn't actually respond directly to moms. The model will suggest or generate a response, but that response will go to the help desk, and the help desk can then decide whether it's safe to send it. We also allow our users to feedback to us when the AI has been effective or when it's maybe giving an incorrect answer. So the user can tell us whether or not they're satisfied with the response, and if they're not, then the help desk can step in.
The AI we create should support decision-making processes and should not replace human judgment, especially in a critical health-related matters.
It's encouraging to hear from development professionals who are proceeding carefully and deliberately in their responsible practice. Senior EIDU Officer Olivia Ogembo joins us now. Hello, Olivia. Why is it important to move slowly when introducing AI tools in development work?
I think it's important to allow anyone who is being introduced to AI to have smooth transitioning so that they enjoy the process, they get to learn, because I believe with learning, then they are able to embrace the process and even become more innovative. So by we introducing it bits and process by process, we are allowing them into the system so that we want them to understand what is this all about, so that it's not something imposed on them, but it is something that they get to learn, be part of it, embrace it, and even further to have more innovations. Yeah.
Thank you, Olivia. Let's see how the other leaders in our study are approaching inclusivity and transparency in their work with AI.
I also see the risk of perpetuating discrimination and injustices if AI is fed with biased information.
Addressing these emerging issues like bias and harm in AI systems is not just a technological challenge that needs to be solved in the app as you build the technology, but it's a socio-technical one that demands multidisciplinary attention where many of us should come together and work together. We need to think a lot about the governance and collaborations that we need to put in place, and also the mindsets that we need to shift, and then actually put metrics in place to help us move in the right direction.
One of the things that we've studied in recent years has been equity gaps based on demographics in our AI systems. We've found that intent detection, although it's not an inherently gendered task, does perform with different accuracy across different genders. By intentionally biasing the training data toward those populations that are currently least well served by the models, over time the equity gap closes, while the overall accuracy for all users increases over time.
Often it's not obvious or easy for farmers to figure out what things they should ask for help with, and then how to formulate the most effective question and add that nuance and detail that's really important to getting the right feedback. We really tackled this by doing onboarding training and really helping users to get comfortable with the technology, give them examples that resonate in their day-to-day life, and also creating these nudges within the chatbots to prompt them, to give them ideas of what to ask.
The majority of use cases that we see have been developed in high-tech environments, and so it's quite unclear whether this can translate into our low and middle income country context. This means we need to build AI that is offline compatible, that's been trained on cultural and context relevant data, and one that is usable by teachers and learners who may have little to no pre-existing digital literacy skills.
I touched the button.
It's also critical to have bias detection and mitigation tools. So this means when you've developed a new algorithm or you're retraining an old one, you're able to check the output and compare it for any bias that might have entered into it. I think if we invest sufficient resources to build AI technology that's tailored for lower income environments, then there is the chance for this technology to benefit millions of people around the world. If instead we hope that solutions that are being developed in high-income environments or high-tech environments can easily just be imported or replicated in different environments, we risk missing out on this opportunity of AI being a net benefit for the international development field.
The other principles that we try to stick with as much as possible are informed consent. So how do you explain that the system she'll be interacting with is backed by AI? You can't use words like artificial intelligence. Research is still ongoing, but so far that we figured the best way to inform a mom is that the responses may be assisted by computer technology. We designed the service around text messages or SMS. It's kind of fun to think that even users who have the most basic technology, like feature phones, still have access to and can benefit from some of the most advanced technology, AI and large language models.
So transparency for us is how we leverage open source technology as much as possible. Any other organization can see what we're building and even build it themselves.
The language models that we create have been open sourced and shared openly, freely with the community for use not only in maternal and newborn health use cases, but in any case. So they can be fine-tuned, for example, for agriculture or education or finance. We've developed the models. There's no reason for us to hold on to them. And we want to release them openly to be able to benefit other organizations.
Given the progress that is being made and the large use of AI technologies, I do believe that it is important to develop an ethical code on the use of AI technologies. It is important to have a framework that can hold persons and institutions accountable.
If this is deployed haphazardly, AI risks worsening existing inequities and eroding trust. But if we proactively mitigate these risks, I'm optimistic the net impact of AI in development will be strongly positive.
Do no harm, keep humans in the loop, pursue fairness for all, and share with the community. Joining us now to reflect on these practices is Dana Ingleton, Executive Director at HURIDOCS. Welcome, Dana. What resonated with you from the discussion of responsible AI in practice?
Hi, thanks. I think the thing that resonated with me the most about responsible AI in practice was how many of the partners and organizations working with machine learning and AI wanted to keep people at the center, the people involved focus. Similarly, it really resonated with me that everybody was thinking about bias. There's so much potential bias in data, and the possibilities of using machine learning and AI to actually help overcome bias rather than further embed it really resonated with me, and it's something that I'm excited about for the future.
Mm-hmm. How are your responsible AI practices evolving over time?
I'd say that the way that our responsible AI practices are evolving over time are really about learning as we're going, right? So we know that the regulatory frameworks around some of this can be very slow moving, getting governments on board, getting organizations on board. And so we feel a real responsibility to evolve at a bit of a faster pace and to make sure that we're contributing to a healthy, responsible growth of these tools. And so we're trying to really embed our learnings as we go and evolve how we not just build these tools, but how we implement them, how we put them in the hands of people in organizations that are using them. So for us, a big trend in where we're going is truly understanding how to put this as a tool in the hands of people rather than the other way around.
Thank you, Dana, and we look forward to your continued leadership in this space. We'll now explore how responsible practice can translate into impact for organizations, end users, and the development community as a whole.
We're able to help more moms more efficiently and more sustainably because of the use of AI. It's important also not to sacrifice things like safety for the sake of efficiency.
While delivery of healthcare requires significant skilled human power, connecting people to the system, overcoming obstacles to care, providing counseling, raising awareness, all of these things can be scaled through digital intervention. AI is a key piece of that scaling.
AI has been able to help me to work efficiently, where I am able to monitor and tell which schools need my support, which schools need immediate intervention, and respond to their need even before them reaching me.
We're getting more than 5,000 questions a day, and manually reviewing those is no longer possible. So we use AI to flag the urgent questions, make sure that these moms who are experiencing these potential danger signs get the help they need much more efficiently and faster.
The things that could take us too long to screen, AI can screen that in an instant.
The help desk very quickly saw the advantage of this and have also helped us over the years develop the AI models to become more accurate and to become more efficient. And in fact, the help desk often pushes my team, the tech team, to keep on improving the models. It just helps with their workflow and makes their life easier.
Our goal is not simply to have an engaging user experience, but to drive healthy behavior change, to drive healthy uptake of appropriate services and products in the healthcare system. And based on the rates of those outcomes, we determine whether a newly developed tailored interface that leverages artificial intelligence provides added value to the end users, to the population health, and to the health system as a whole.
More than 10,000 plus women have been onboarded. We are now looking at scaling up this project into at least 7 districts in the coming months.
We have 6 languages in the AI assistant right now. We have put it in the hands of about 13,000 extension agents, and we estimate that they're reaching about 200,000 farmers. We rely on A/B tests, and we do those to figure out the effect of new features. We also do user testing and also deploy evaluation studies, particularly around knowledge improvement and adoption of practices.
Yeah.
101 users in India reported about 53% of them an improved quality of life because of Farmer Chat. And 73% of respondents said that they had never accessed anything like this before.
Learners are able to interact with the various learning content, and according to their level of competency, the app is able to detect where they are at and support them at the areas of weaknesses by providing activities that will catapult them to the level where they need to be.
For teachers, they benefit since on the one hand, we save them time, that they don't have to prepare all of these lesson materials or to individually assess each child to get an understanding of their knowledge state or their levels of performance, while we also provide them with the tools to deliver effective pedagogy.
Where an AI responds and the mom gets the answer to her question immediately, generally moms are more inclined to ask another question or to follow up versus when she might have asked a question, gets an answer a few hours later.
By leveraging data on each mother's question history and clinical background, this allows us to build risk profiles, tailor our messaging, and flag high-risk cases for referral to specialized facilities. So through continuous refinement of our AI models, we are starting to provide increasingly targeted support and also improve maternal health outcomes at scale.
The long term, what does that look like if we're contributing to the open source community rather than making a profit off the software that we're developing? So we really try to focus on what we do and do it really, really well, and partner with and collaborate with other small tech and social change organizations in an attempt to build a community that's sustainable and will be here for the long haul.
We build upon open source tools and share our own tested models to expand affordable AI-driven support for underserved populations. We focus on making our models cost-effective and sustainable so they can be scaled and maintained within the resource-constrained government health systems.
The global learning crisis is far too big for any one organization to tackle. Instead, we are aiming to build the open source tools that any implementer or any government can use to replicate the impact we've already achieved.
We're making our tech stack and architecture of Farmer Chat open source. We are building it as a digital public infrastructure, as a public good that others can use to build their own chatbots, their own apps, and this could be government agencies, it could be private companies or NGOs.
We're all figuring out what our own tech literacy is around data, big data sets, machine learning, document intelligence, and it's really difficult for everyone to stay on top of the newest emerging technologies. It's only together as a community trying to understand these will we generally increase the critical tech literacy of civil society and the human rights community around the world.
We're thrilled to be in conversation with so many dedicated development professionals working to increase their impact through greater community and collaboration. To that end, Jay Patel, Director of Technology at Jacaranda Health, joins us now. Hello, Jay. Your team started using AI in 2019. How have you managed the challenge of evaluating your impact and at the same time building and refining a new AI tool?
So data, of course, is at the heart of everything. And what I've learned along the way is to track every metric you can think of at every step of the testing and development stages, even if you don't possibly see how it could be useful in that moment. You'll be surprised by how many of these metrics will quickly become useful and provide little gems of insight as you continue to iterate and scale. And then, of course, talk to your user. They will very quickly tell you what works, where you're falling short, and what you need to do better. And they'll tell you this, oftentimes more clearly than even the quantitative data does. And lastly, just make sure you keep the end goal in mind. Greater efficiency and cost savings are all well and good, but how are you helping the people you serve, and how are you helping make that little bit of positive change in the world? Why are you doing what you're doing? What is your North Star? And then just make an honest assessment of whether this bit of AI or that other bit of technology is keeping you pointed in the right direction. And essentially use the data to figure that out and then course correct where necessary.
Wonderful. Jacaranda Health has been so committed to contributing to the community through your open source language models. How can your team benefit from the knowledge and experience of this growing community of practice?
I'm a real strong believer in the fact that sharing back to the community feeds a virtuous cycle. So alone as Jacaranda, we can't possibly pursue all interesting avenues of exploration or try all the experiments that come to mind, nor would we want to. Aside from time and resource constraints, that would probably take us way off mission. But sharing the lessons that we've learned and the resources that we've developed to the community allows other organizations to build and innovate in ways that we may never even think of. And then we can, when they share the lessons and learnings back with us, we can then figure out what they did that was new and how we might apply that to our own work. And use what they've shared to accelerate our own progress in a way that may not have been otherwise possible. So in that way, we can all help each other grow, help support each other's missions, even if the missions are not directly related.
Thank you, Jay. And thank you to all the dedicated development professionals who shared their thoughts with us for this project. The hard work of coming to use AI responsibly is done by people working in organizations, making choices and pursuing sustainable impact. Since these case studies reflect important change underway rather than change completed, we look forward to continuing the discussion with all of you as artificial intelligence continues to be deployed and evaluated across the development sector. Thank you for joining this conversation and for your efforts to use AI technology responsibly for good.